Welcome to everyone, like my fabulous panelists, as well as everyone out there, to today's session, Virus versus Hotel, Corona, another session, another episode on the Corona talks. My name is Iris. I am today doing the moderation for this talks, and the subject today is how to prepare for reopening. As I said before, I have a great panel here who will in a minute introduce themselves, but just like a bit of for those of you who haven't watched before, a bit of details for today's session. We will have approximately an hour. It will be similar to the evening camps, hopefully, like for those of you who know the hospitality industry club evening camps, which means we hope that we have like an interactive discussion between the hoteliers and the vendors on today's session. I think this subject is on everyone's mind, so we'll be really excited to hear from all of you on your experiences on what you are doing. I'll be asking some questions, but we hope as well to have many questions from you out there. Please ask those questions via the Q&A area and not the chat if you can. Daniel will help me on this, and we'll look out for your questions so that they're all get mentioned. I'm sure our panel will have like some insightful answers there for you. So panelists, Daniel, shall we put up the slides and let the panelists introduce themselves? As is tradition, please state your name, the company you work for, explain quickly what you do, what the company does, and then as well, we'd like a hashtag from you. That can be like something personal related to your job, whatever you like. Helen, why don't you start?
Sure, thank you very much. I'm really excited to join. So my name is Helen. I have been working with Hotelchamp for the past 3.5 years within the customer success team. So my major focus is working with the DACH region, but also with international key accounts, which defines hotel chains and helping them drive their direct business. Just a little bit to my background. So when I was living 3 years in Canada, working for Fairmont Hotels and Resorts, that's exactly where my passion for the hotel industry came from. Moving back then to Germany, studying in tourism management, and after that, I started at Hotelchamp. So now I have the nice connection between the digital world and also supporting the hotels, especially now during this crisis.
Great. And so you know both sides, and that will be very interesting for us on the call today. What's your hashtag?
My hashtag is Crisis Creates Creativity.
Very cool. All right, Frank, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Frank Pohl. I'm working for NextGuest. Yeah, NextGuest is a service provider in digital marketing and CRM mainly. Our services are mainly in the field of, let's say, the CRM with a comprehensive CRM suite, including a data management platform, many email marketing solutions. We provide hoteliers with guest communications like cancellation, confirmation, pre-arrival, and post-stay emails to increase their cross and upsell activities. We provide digital marketing services like search engine marketing, search engine optimization, meta search, and content marketing. And last but not least, we do a lot of consulting in the field of CRM and digital marketing. Yeah, and we are completely focused on the hospitality industry and existing now around about 20 years. So there's a lot of experience in our company. Yeah, and I'm happy to support you today in this team and in the audience with hopefully some good ideas for marketing and CRM to change your strategy, because now that the reopening stands in front of the door, we should increase our activities, and that's where I would like to give some initiatives. And my hashtag is, if Lisa would be with us today, she would know it already. It's Kräuterbutter, herbal butter in German. In English, that's my favorite. Thank you very much.
Okay, lovely. And you are a very experienced participant of the evening camps. So
Yes.
like you might be one of those I have to hold back.
Nearly,
But then again, we don't hopefully have such a shy panel today. I'm sure it'll be a great interaction.
I'm nearly a co-founder.
Yeah. So Alex, the new member of opensmjle, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex, the head of digital for opensmjle. Since Monday, the years before, I have worked as a head of digital for 25 Hours Hotels. So I know what's happening in the hotels, in the hospitality industry very well. And we as opensmjle helping hotels with storytelling websites, and from now on, helping you with digital projects, as we just launched our new service, Outsourced Digital Agent. And my hashtag would be nerd in team, nerd at the team.
Okay, great. I thought you would take over Daniel's from last time. We have masks.
No, I'm selling myself, so
all right.
Daniel was selling masks, and I'll do the rest.
All right, thank you. Neha, will you go next, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me again. My name
Lovely
is Neha
having you.
from, thank you. My name is Neha from Revinate. Revinate's EMEA office is in Amsterdam, but I'm personally taking care of the DACH market as well. So Revinate 11 years ago started with the reputation and surveys product, and then 6 years ago continued with the CRM system. So today we're talking about a fully merged guest data platform, which usually for hotels mean clean database, unified guest profiles, and then also target group specific and automated guest communication. And my hashtag today is I can't wait to travel again.
Okay, great. I think all of us feel the same. And it's great, Helen, Neha and Frank, like the representing the vendors today, all have like the guest at the heart of their mind. So like that will be very interesting as a perspective today as well. Right, next slide, Daniel, who will go next for the introductions. Nadja, do you want to do the honors? Lovely having you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Nadja. I'm working for two lovely hotels in the heart of Hamburg, which are the Empire Riverside Hotel and the Hotelhafen Hamburg. In total, we own about 700 rooms and then 7 restaurants, and I think it's 14 rooms for events. So we are actually pretty huge, and we can't wait for them to reopen. Our Hotelhafen Hamburg is closed since the beginning of March, and the Empire Riverside Hotel is still open, but we only welcome a few guests, like around 10 or something. So we are really looking forward for our leisure guests to come back to us.
Okay, great. And your hashtag?
Oh yeah, my hashtag will be curiosity for today.
Okay, cool. So last but not least, from France, Maxime, do you want to go?
Yeah, hello. So I'm Maxime. I'm the Director of Revenue and Distribution for Hotels and Préférence. Just to give you a quick heads up of what it is, because I'm pretty sure not a lot of you know about Hotels and Préférence. We are a French voluntary chain. We work with almost 200 hotels, 4 and 5 stars, that are present in less than 20 countries, 18, 19. And basically we help our hoteliers on a lot of places in sales representation, on the MICE segment, on communication, but also on distribution, the part that I am most handling. And over these 200 hotels, if you want some figures, we have 90 spas, we have more than 90 restaurants, and restaurants that goes up to the 2 Michelin stars, actually, 40 golf. So basically we have a huge variety of hotels, going from the big hotels in cities up to the smallest hotel in the region or on the beach side or things like that, with an average of 60 rooms per hotels approximately.
Okay, fantastic. And your hashtag?
Well, distribution is plumbing. You have to
Right.
you have to plan it in advance. You have to look what you do to look at the flow if it's working. Sometimes it's leaking. Basically, it's plumbing.
All right, great. Well, as I said earlier, I'm Iris Steinmetz. I'm today moderating for Hospitality Industry Club, and my hashtag is completely positive, meaning hashtag keep smiling, stay positive. There we go. Daniel, last but not least, very last but not least.
I'm so bad with hashtags.
You can still use the mask one.
Yeah, I'm always like handling that stuff. Now I created the poll because it was not there, and and then you're like, oh damn, a hashtag. So I'm Daniel, the founder of the Hospitality Industry Club, and I'm from Opensmjle and the co-founder of Tech Talk Travel. We're all about education stuff and all the things that my lovely, lovely new colleague Alex just said. And I'm hoping we will have a great session today, but I'm 100% sure with these panelists. And my hashtag would be beer with Frank.
All right. Great. As you
best
just
one.
mentioned the poll, how is that looking, the first poll?
Coming up right now. Here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
So let's see. I was improvising the poll actually within 1 minute, so I obviously forgot some countries. But if you're not there with your country, I apologize in advance, and just write it into the chat.
And you don't have other.
Do I have?
No, I was joking.
Oh. Yeah. I'm already getting bad messages on my mobile. No, it's all right.
Okay.
So 70% voted. We'll leave it up for another 30 seconds until you can finalize it. And Iris, if you want to.
Yes, like maybe I can say something quickly in between. Like in preparation for this session, I thought like the reopening part will be like very interesting to see from a hotelier point of view. So my first questions were going to be aimed at that. But now looking at what Nadja and Maxime just said, I think I will even break it down further, because Nadja, like you have two fantastic hotels you're representing in Hamburg. And Maxime has like a more like of a chain situation, and I think
Exactly.
both we can learn something. So I'll differentiate my questions a bit. And here's the poll results.
Yeah, so the majority is from Germany. Obviously, we only have one person from Austria, which is.
I'm impressed with 17% from Asia. Thank you very much. It's late for them, you know.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Maxime brought all the people from France.
Well, all some.
And we have Donald Trump listening in, so he can learn something from the youth.
So we should put on something on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think mostly the Hilton CEO teaches him these days. So that's right. All right. Why don't we get started? So I think we're all excited that like finally there's a silver lining at the horizon, and you know, even if it's not all there yet, but we're every day gaining a little bit more normality, like getting closer to reopening. And here, especially from a hotel side, I'd really be interested to see. I think we all will see a lot of change in accommodation, in staying, in like the whole experience around it, be it like when we travel ourselves or with our guests. Nadja, like when you guys were, like you just said, like one of your hotels is closed, the other one is open. Are you able to open all areas? Like, are you planning for that already now? Are you first of all looking at accommodation only for maybe? Are you keeping one hotel closed for the time being, just filling the other? What are your plans?
To be honest, we are still talking about that because it's not so easy and things in Germany are not so clear at the moment, which will be allowed, which is not, what are the things we need to take care about. But what we might start with is like 80 rooms. I mean, in the Empire Riverside Hotel, we do have 327, so 80 rooms is not a lot, but that's the amount we think we can just start with, as everybody needs to use our elevators. So everybody will meet at the elevators, and we need to find a way to take care of them and to bring everybody safe to their rooms. And then, of course, we do have restaurants and bars, and we will not open them from the start. Maybe the restaurant, we don't know, we are not sure about that yet, but the bar, of course, not, because it's not allowed. But first we will start with a breakfast, which is not in our restaurant, but which you can just collect at the front office. And then we are talking about the other hotel, which is closed, as you just mentioned before. How can we open it? Do we want to open it at the same time when everybody else does, or do we wait for some time? But I think we can't wait anymore. We just want to open it again, even if it's not, even if we don't have a lot of guests for the beginning, but we just can't wait anymore, and we are just waiting and want to start again. So we might just open it too.
Okay. Well, interesting that you said that you weren't sure on the restaurant side. I had a recent talk with Klaus Kohlmeier from Ideas, and he had, on his travel back from New Zealand, he had to stay at a hotel, and he said one of the worst experiences was that he wasn't able to have a takeaway from the hotel itself, because the F&B areas was closed and everyone was ordering in pizza and Uber Eats and whatnot. So interesting that is a part.
Yeah, so, actually, I think it is because we are right in the center of St. Pauli, which is a very district with a lot of life and restaurants. So it's not that hard to get some food from around us. And then for the Hotelhafen Hamburg, it's a reason that we have renovated a restaurant. It has been finished 4 weeks ago. So we thought, if it's really a good idea to open it when everybody else just opens the restaurant, or should we wait some time until everybody is used to it, to going out and go to restaurant, and then we open our new one, a new baby, or should we open it from day one? And that's the reason why we thought.
And ruin the experience a bit, right, of the opening. Yeah, I understand that. So Maxime, how does it look for the hotels in your group? I mean, you said earlier when we were preparing for this call that it looks as if in France, it would open very soon as well. Again, you just got some news there. Just waiting for details.
I haven't yet seen them because basically there was a hearing or a discussion at 4 p.m. But basically I had not time to review it. As you guys had Angela Merkel that did also something. Yesterday. It was yesterday, if I'm not wrong. And basically it looks like we were going to some lighter rules and some kind of reopening to travel, even though there might be a limitation to 100 kilometers. But basically it would still allow some people to at least be able to do a weekend, to do some midweek vacation or whatsoever, just to blow some steam and to be able to at least go further than just, back down the street and to the supermarket. And basically we have hoteliers that are discussing about reopening. We have some that didn't even close. Basically for those that did not close, it was like a couple of customers every week, not much. I still have some feedback for some hotels that did not close and one still fully booked, but it was really more the exception than the real what's happening on the market. And basically it was due really to a specific local situation that did it. And so basically, we have some hotels that are looking into reopening, that are seriously studying it. And now it's just a question about looking at the rule. How do we perform it? How do we make it? And on most of the hotel, it's the golf that are reopening first.
Yeah, basically. On the 11th, I think, right?
Basically on the 11th.
That's what I heard in France. It's on the 11th.
Exactly, from the 11th. And basically the golf will be the first to reopen, if I've well understood, and maybe some golf with it. I discussed yesterday with one of our hoteliers that is reopening. They are working and they should be reopening the golf even this weekend, more or less, because basically there was no real restriction upon the golf, because you can, as long as you play alone, would we say. And they are already preparing some snacking information because they cannot reopen the clubhouse. Restaurants still have to be closed. But basically they're still preparing snacks and things like that, looking with their cuisine actually how they can manage it, handle it. And I'm pretty sure it will be also used for the hotel later on, even though they still have no date for the opening for this particular hotel.
I was talking to Paul Armitage from the French Golfing Association like the other day, and yeah, he was saying the same. So in preparation for that, it's like, are the hotels reaching out to you for guidance, or are you preparing checklists, procedures, trainings, anything for the hotels, or are they all doing their own? Because I assume there's certain standards you would like to be kept, right? Plus,
yes,
I mean, there's things you need to consider for booking as well, and so
exactly.
on.
Well, basically, we are a voluntary chain, and this changes a lot. We are not an integrated chain like Accor, like Marriott, or whoever. So basically, it's still independently owned and independently run hotel. But basically, we have a lot of hoteliers that are even asking us, even myself, some information about should they close their spa, what are the cleaning procedures they should have, all things that are related also to the handling of the hotel. And even though we have no specific procedures, no specific standards, it's also our role to be aware of what is done, to give them some tips, some information, something like that. We can give them a recommendation, but at the end of the day, they have to run their house and adapt to everything like that. But it's also our role to give them some hints and tips on how to do it, maybe work with our partners also to handle some of the things they may need in the future. And basically it's how we work for it. And in terms of what we are more handling is also distribution part and also pricing and all these questions. Yeah, in this case, they have to pass with us and to look with us in order to put all the rates, all the rules. And then we really give them some feedback about what we see over all the hotels, all the several markets, in regards to, the pricing types, the sales restriction types, so all this part, how to maybe reopen, what kind of offer you should really rather have, and things like that. Maybe some channels that you may reopen, and really we recommend them. We give them some hints, some tips. After that, it's their role to follow them or not, basically. But we give them some hints and tricks. It's not all standardized and all 100% to follow rules.
But I think we're all like in this situation of limbo, right? So I think the communication between the hoteliers and the exchange is very important. One of the reasons for this talk today, but as well something I really saw improving in the industry. Nadja, have you prepared some checklists, some training, or are you planning to do so for the hotels, like be it on hygiene, how to handle things? Are you preparing that for the two hotels? You're on mute.
Sorry. Actually, we were preparing a lot, but my part in this whole journey will be the communication part. So of course we are doing trainings with the housekeeping, but it's not our own housekeeping stuff. We're working with another company. So we need them to train their employees. But of course we will train our front office staff, for example, so that they know what to tell our customers if they have questions, or if they are asking how to behave or what to follow. But my part in this whole journey will be the whole communication part. So tell our customers before they are in a hotel, during their stay, and after their stay, how the things work with us, what is possible, what not, and to give them safety.
Okay.
Or the feeling of safety, at least.
Well, there is no 100% guarantee for anything, but at least to transport the feeling of feeling safe is very, very important. And yes, the communication, I think mostly the close communication with the guest will make all the difference. And thank you for preparing such a nice way of leading over, because I was going to ask our vendors, you know, you all have to do with guests and information about guests, guest communication, and so on. How are you preparing to help the hoteliers in this? How are you supporting the hoteliers? What have you maybe changed in your software to pick up, like, be it reviews on related to corona sensitive topics, hygiene or anything, or additional insights for the hoteliers to look at? I don't know, Frank, do you want to start on that?
Yes, I can start. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, in general, we are very well prepared in terms of marketing communication with our solutions for the hoteliers, because I think most of the hoteliers run down their marketing activities through the last weeks and months. It would have been recommended to let's say work on the brand relationship in the past weeks, so that you don't lose your guests, don't lose your customers and your brand lovers. Hopefully most of the hoteliers have done some activities in this way. Now we are in the phase that every one of the consumer is ready to go for the next holiday, for the next business travel. And what I think, the pressure in the market will increase heavily in the moment when it is clear we can open now the doors for the guests. Everyone will start marketing activities, and hopefully all of the people here in the audience are ready to go. And I think we deliver all the solutions to do that, no matter if it is in CRM or in the guest communications part. You asked about COVID-19 special things. You could transfer all the COVID-19, let's say, behavior rules and changes in your pre-arrival emails, for example, very clear and concrete to the guests. This is one example. But coming back to marketing again, you should start now your digital marketing activities in terms of display marketing, in terms of meta search marketing. All these kind of things should start now. And you should also not forget that there is let's say, a time to book, which is a historical behavior. If you think of let's say, the next vacation, normally you do that as a family 2 or 3 months in advance. And we have now to start our activities to bring back the guests in the coming months and in the coming year. And last point I like to make, and then I'm finished with that first part. There are many ideas that you could start with your email marketing, like sending out a campaign to people who have canceled their booking due to COVID-19, reactivate them, invite them to come back, invite them to go back to your website and take a look at all the promotions that you start now for the coming seasons. This would be one example. The same is valid for group business. If you have lost group business due to COVID-19, reactivate the guests. You have the email addresses. Hopefully you have a solution. If not, come to us. We can deliver a solution for you for email marketing. Very much targeted. All these kind of things can be done. And I will share, if you like, a link later to our website where you can download an ebook with a COVID-19 recovery strategy. It's more than 90 pages, some around 100 pages that you can download free of charge, with a lot of ideas in CRM, email marketing, and digital marketing. So if you like, I can join this link with you.
That sounds like a lot of great information. Thank you, Frank. And I think, like, in terms of like people preparing now to travel again, wishing to travel as well, needing a holiday after all this time, but there's still a lot of uncertainty, you know, with regards to which countries can you go to? Is it only within your own country, maybe which regions, and so on. Helen, how are you from Hotelchamp, like supporting the hoteliers in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the strongest points has been that during the entire crisis that we're constantly in touch with our clients, which means understanding their situation and the developments and the measures they're taking and measurements that are changing. Also, in terms of what Frank actually touched on, we're absolutely advising them also to be creative in this time and to look for different approaches, which means how to capture more email addresses, how to address these subscribers how to use your loyalty base, also how to look at your traffic that is on your website. What are they actually searching for? So there are product features that we have in place that help understand real-time demand, and what are people actually interested in? When will they pick up to travel again, and when will they be staying at the hotel? Actually, now this is just a very recent campaign within the Netherlands. It's one of my clients I've been working closely with. They actually put a staycation package into place, which is for this coming weekend, and they sold out already. So it's actually domestic travelers really looking for an opportunity to get out of the house, to feel safe at the hotel, but to also have a unique experience. So this is like, for example, a combination of having a superior suite, some live music during dinner, and to serve breakfast in their room. So these kind of things, to just be creative and to push that and to find a way of communicating this. And that's what we're actively bringing forward to make hoteliers aware of possibilities they can use with our software, but also just in general of the possibilities they have, the capabilities they have, the social media channels they're using, and really just pushing boundaries.
I think, well, the Netherlands is like one of the countries who like wasn't as strict in many areas, like very thoughtful, but like allowing still for, I think there were less hotels closed than, for example, in Germany in that time as a percentage. But great that that business is starting to pick up again, and the idea. And I thought particularly what you said about the data, you know, look at what people look for is really relevant here. Neha, have you seen at Revinate, like people like, you know, using the data to prepare like those email campaigns, or, you know, looking like especially at the needs of the guest in this?
Yeah, definitely. I think database marketing is really the key here right now. Instead of, let's say, relying on third parties, etc., I think the first step should be indeed to look at your data first. We have also our team, our customer success team has also created a lot of segments and a lot of email templates that our customers and also on our online resource page can be seen and used as well. And that indeed, as Helen just said before, leads into staycation offers, but also touching on your loyal guests first. And these kind of segments and templates are crucial right now, I would say, yeah.
Okay. In these times and with the communication with the guest needed, it seems, Nadja, as if like you were focusing more on one area, like, so you said like communication is your role. Have you seen other roles created, have you seen other roles being created like because of the situation, or people being shifted to take particular care of a certain area? I saw the other day a role where someone was looking for a chief hygiene officer. I mean, maybe that, like, you know, for the larger company that takes it to an extreme, but it sounded to me like, you know, you were now focusing on communication. So, you know, there was as well action taken of shifting the focus of employees to certain, making it the responsibility, certain areas, the responsibility of dedicated employees. Is that the case?
It might be so. I mean, we're not searching for new employees, and like you just said, like hygiene. What was it? Hygiene.
A chief hygiene officer.
Okay.
CHO.
No, we don't have that one. But what I think is the case that everybody is doing something of this hygiene and safety work. So everybody looks, okay, how can we do this? We do have a task force where we discuss all those stuff and what we need to do and what we want to do, even if it's not, even if we're not asked to do it, but we just want to do it ourselves. So of course, this is a situation nobody of us was in before, right? And nobody had to work with this situation in the past. So we just need to, what I actually do a lot is I just Google Google what is possible, what do we need to do, what do others do. Just inspire yourself by big chains or by smaller hotels who are very focused on projects. I think it's okay. Just talk to them, use panels like this, and then figure out what to do and what your project will be and what you want to do for your hotel and for your guests.
And that was going to be one of my questions. How do you keep informed? Because I find it a bit hard. There's a lot of information, you know, all around us, but what is relevant? How well are we informed by government authorities or whatnot? So yeah, Google or other hoteliers is definitely a means. Maxime, how does that work for you? I mean, do you feel well informed by like the authorities? Like, are they upfront, or do you need to check up? Okay, go ahead. I guess the answer.
If you still want to know, for hotel industry, we're still in the gray. Technically, no one has to close their doors, but sometimes when you listen to politics, they're stating, maybe we will reopen some hotels. Oh, we should have had closed then. No, still no rules. But basically, they are trying to rearrange the situation, create some working lists for everything like that. But it takes time to be done. And basically, yes, like Nadja said, it's, you know, getting involved, trying to get interested. Even myself, I try to be educated about housekeeping, maybe the changes that will have to be performed, or also in the management of the hotel, you will have to rearrange all your staff when they arrive, because they cannot be all at the same time in the changing room. You cannot have one shift entirely at the changing room, because then, yeah, you protect your customer, but not your staff anymore. So basically, there has been a lot to be resynced, and my thoughts go really quickly, first of all, to the hotel, and all the handling and all the processes that needs to be resynced and resort and rearranged and also followed. Then you have to involve everyone to let them know why it is, because basically everyone needs to be insured, because you and me, when we go back to work, we need to be sure that everything is done. The same we do to our customer. If we are not sure that we are safe, we cannot, you know, give this sense of feeling to our customers. So there is a lot to be done. As an example, I had a recording of a meeting from Atout France, which is a huge French government. They had Pierre-Frédéric Rouleau, which is the head of Jinjiang International, which is the international part of Jinjiang Hotels, which is, well, a big hotel group. I'm pretty sure you know. And basically they had some data about China, maybe some data that we do not know. Basically, from what I've heard, I'm not very sure of the context, but they had something like 40% of the time of the staff when they reopened that were either not willing or that could not come back to work because they were, I don't know, in some part and they were too far away, they could not come back, or they were just not reinsured enough that they could not come. And basically, from my point of view, there is a lot to be planned, prepared at the hotel, at the operation, in order to ensure that everything is on board, everyone is on board. And then you have to address also the customer. But I would say that the customer, it's, well, they won't come unless they will have to or they are willing. You can work on the local, as Neha said, as Helen said, on the staycation. It's one of the parts that we will also recommend to our hoteliers, because it's a local, the most important. But well, from the government side, yeah, we have some information, but like you guys, we were waiting some announcement to know that the next step, well, it was the 11th for us. Well, today to know what are the rules for the 11th. And now we have some precise information. And now the question is, what do we do with it? Do we move forward? And most of the hotel will reopen, will have just a few customers, but they have to reopen at some point. And basically we will just follow the rules, move on, and try to, well, go with the next step and go step by step in order to, well, follow the rules and see what happens. And basically we will have to work on the customers, we will have to work on our staff, and we will have to have everyone on board to hope that it works in the future.
And I think they like mentioning, sorry, Nadja, go ahead.
I think what is very interesting about what you said is that you said we need to be safe, that everything we do is okay. But normally when you're in a new situation, it is always try and error. And this time it can't be an error. You need to try, but it needs to be safe and sound. So this is really a new situation for all of us, right? Because we don't want to be the hotel where all the new corona cases are. And so everybody's just, okay, waiting and don't want to be the first, but everybody wants to open again. So yeah, I think we just need to stick together and to talk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is really like, I mean, employees, important part. I mean, do you know which of your employees is part of risk group and can't come back to work maybe? Or, you know, there's lots of areas where, as you said, Maxime, we have to consider before that. And like you said, Nadja, no one wants to be the first one where a corona case occurs, be it with a guest or with an employee, because that'll be really bad for the reputation. Plus, I think that means even more procedures. What do you do if a case occurs? How do you handle it? What are your steps? Checklist on this? What does housekeeping? What are the tasks of housekeeping? Whatever. And I think, Nadja, a task force like you mentioned, what you have in place is probably the best, so that you have the relevant areas around the table and agreeing on things. Daniel, it's coming up 1:45. Are there any questions? I have more, like I'm never short of questions, but are there questions out there? Then we definitely want to hear what the audience is interested in.
Yeah, so we have two questions, one from Heiko, one from Dennis, which I would love to pick up. Before I do that, some really great comments as well in the chat from the different hoteliers. They're all in different stages, some preparing disinfection, some actually not being back yet in Dublin with no reopening date. So it's really depending on where you're based right now, a complete mix. And as I wrote in the chat as well, for those actually that don't have a definite date yet, it's actually really great to listen to things like that and to look at as well on what the hoteliers are doing right now, for example, in Switzerland or now in Hamburg, that have a certain opening date. How do they get prepared and all that? And the first question from Heiko is actually something I discussed today with Alex as well. Opening is one thing. When do you expect to get back to levels that allow you to run the business profitably? This year, 2021, or later? Aris, whom do you want to?
Maxime, go ahead. Like the distribution, the selling, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's a complicated one, to be honest, because basically there is, well, nothing has been seen, and the best feedback that we have, I will just refer to the same call that I just did with Atout France and Xinjiang. I don't know if the stats were exactly from Xinjiang. It was not really clear on the sources, but basically from what I've well understood, when the hotel reopened in China, basically they were very low on occupancy, but basically more or less up to the first month, they were up to 20% occupancy, which is quite interesting. And basically they were looking up to a 10% increase per month. Wow, it's encouraging. It's way great. It's very nice. But one very important point, in China, most of the hotels are not linked to chain. So they are not controlled by Marriott, by Accor, by whoever, Xinjiang, or all these. And most of them are independent. Under certain labels like mine, like or the Chateau, like Design, I don't know which one. Well, but basically there has been a price dump of hell, if I may say. Because basically, yes, they have occupancy, but the ADR has been divided by 2. And this is what I saw also earlier today. We had some discussion with revenue managers. We had another open mic session like this one. And basically they said, well, watch out for your price. Basically, yeah, you can lower them. You can be more secured and things like that. But if you go on a price war, it's also a discussion to have with your colleague from the other hotels, because if you start a going lower strategy in order to get every single customer to your hotel, it won't help you. At the end of the day, it won't help you. It won't help the entire location, well, the entire place. It will be terrible. And basically, yeah, back to normal, I have no clue. And it would be really crazy for myself to let you know, yeah, in 6 months, everything will be fine, things like that. But no, it's not so sure. In China, they plan to have a 50% more or less occupancy up in July. They said something like that. I just noted it down. But basically, we don't know. And it depends also to the ADR, because basically if the ADR is way low, and also one very big disclaimer they had in their market is that the market switched down. Basically what went to 4-star hotels went to 3-star hotels and things like that. It can also help in the price down in the ADR, because again, I did not add the slide with all the statistics, but basically, well, it's quite interesting. And where, yeah, one very important information that they had, it was in the big city where the international market was very important. They were on the ground. So basically they were not at 20%, even not even. And basically it was more the hotels that were more on the local markets, maybe in tier 2 cities or tier 3, like they say. And basically were performing better. And also on the 3-star, 2-star, 1-star were performing better than the 4-star, 5-star and high-end ones.
And I think that is what we will see everywhere, because if you consider that local travel will come back first before national, international, then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Daniel, what else?
I know how I feel when we do a hotel evening camp in Paris and Maxime is there. I speak like one sentence all evening and Maxime and Benji cover everything else. I would love to position that question as well to Neha and Helen and Frank and Alex, because they speak to so many hoteliers every day and get so much diverse feedback. Coming back to what Heike was asking. So what's the expectation levels you guys are confronted with when you speak to hotels? Because I get a very diverse mix. I spoke to a big hotel group yesterday, which are in multiple countries. In some hotels, they're opening up in Germany. Some others, they are now selling. Some others, they will remain closed. Some others in Asia are open already. So it's a really, really big and diverse picture. What's the picture you get, guys, starting with Neha?
Yeah, I think indeed, if we look at the whole Europe, basically, or even the whole world, every country is basically in a different phase. So that's why it's very important to have a strategy for every phase as well. I think, Daniel, I shared a slide with you. Maybe if it's interesting, we can bring that up as well. That basically shows a few points that we recommend depending on in which phase you are. Do you have that slide, Daniel? Or yeah.
Working.
Because especially like from our side, we're talking about the guest communication, and these are 5 recovery pillars that we talk about in the frame of our reopening strategy guide that we are publishing soon. So if you look the left, it's nurture, really means keep continuing talking to your guests, basically, not only when the hotels are open, but really also now keep them informed and also inspire them now for the situation that is that you have at the moment in the hotel. So warm up your guests, basically, but then also inquire, which basically means in order to be even more sure that your offerings are matching the demand of the guests, why don't you engage with them and send out surveys to them to ask them, what do you need right now? What would you like to have? So also in order to be even more sure with your offerings, basically. And then we also talked about the segmentation earlier before. I think segmentation is very, very important. There are 2 main segments. Due to the situation that we are in right now, domestic travel, of course, will be very, very relevant. And luckily, if you look into some European countries such as Germany, UK, Italy, France, there is a big proportion of domestic travel as well. So target those, geolocation targeting. And then I think it will be also a bit cheaper or cost efficient, I would say, to target your loyal guests first. And I also think that those guests that know your property already might be also more likely to choose you compared to a new property at all. And then when we look into the 4th pillar, which is compete, that basically just means that I do see a trend. I can imagine that there's way more, there's a lot of supply in the beginning, let's say, a lot of offerings, maybe even some aggressive offerings when it comes to the packages, etc. So maybe take a step back and also plan for a later stage, Q3, Q4, and not only the first few weeks, basically where everybody is trying to get some business. And then the last pillar is impact, because unfortunately, I think the occupancy rate will be lower in the beginning, also due to the government regulations. But maybe, I know it's hard, but maybe use it as a bright side as well. Maybe make this the stay of the guest even more special for the guest by upsells and upgrade possibilities, which could be also an additional source of income and revenue.
Cool.
And if I may say one example to hoteliers that still continue to engage with the customer, as I mentioned I had a discussion yesterday with one hotelier that has his golf. The golf has never been as beautiful as it is now. And basically they continue to tease their customer because they're really heavily golf focused. They continue to tease their customer about the situation, about the golf, the view, how it is, and the fact that they will reopen right now. They're doing some offers, so they continue teasing it. And it's really important, as you said, Neha, also to identify your customer, as your focus will be. It's not yet the time to communicate to your US market. Too early, way too early. You really need to understand which one are your local markets and communicate with them. And it's not even the leisure one, also the corporate one, because you also need the first one that will come will be your corporates, because these will be the one that will have to come for business, because business is, well, everywhere it's reopening. And basically sending a note to your corporates contact stating, hey guys, we are reopening. Well, for you, we have these and these safety measures that have been in place. Please let this know to maybe the one that will be traveling, because maybe we will request them some very specific things. Here is the fact that we ensure that you will be safe, everything will be good. And also you can rediscuss, maybe you can rearrange some pricing, you can rearrange some sales condition. Maybe you were too harsh on your sales condition with your corporates, just to ensure that you will catch them and that you will reinsure them and that they will not go, to the Marriott one or whatsoever.
This
Sorry, I talk too much.
The man with the gray hair and the beard wants to say something.
The man with the gray hair and the beard. No, I just wanted to add something in terms of marketing activities. And as Maxime said, it doesn't make sense, for example, to communicate to your guests from the US market. I mean, the big advantage of having a CRM solution, of having a big database with a lot of data, gives you the opportunity to do no mass marketing, but to segment between the guests by social demographics, like where do people come from, and also by guest value segments. Are they big spenders or are they more discount related? All these kind of things. What are the special interests they have, like golf, Maxime, you mentioned that. So with this kind of data, interests, preferences, cities and countries where they come from, are they loyal guests, are they non-loyal guests, whatever you name it, all this data is in your CRM. And instead of doing mass marketing, as I mentioned before, do small campaigns, very much targeted, to fill the occupancy that you can fill on that low capacity that we have in the beginning. And then step by step, increase your activities to fill the guests, to fill the hotels with the guests, with the right guests. Yeah, so that would be my recommendation as well. And what we do is, together with our clients, for example, we work on that strategies one by one with our clients in the consulting team to find exactly the right data strategy for their campaigns.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely right to target. Daniel, more?
Yeah, maybe in that context, and because I noted it down as well, and Alex just joined us on Monday, but he was doing all that stuff in preparation for 25 hours. Maybe you can change that, you can share some ideas on what you basically told me the last weeks, on how to get prepared with all performance marketing, how to set up your hotel, when you can open and start selling again, when I had some stuff.
Yeah, so in preparation to, I think the first and important thing is make people aware that you're still there, and make people, let people know that you're waiting for them, because I think one of the most important things is that the people are really desperate to travel, at least domestic. So people really want to travel and want to, as well, once they are there, they want to share the experience. So I think you have to take certain steps, and sure, we can support you with that. So set up your campaigns right. Just do not target everybody, but really target those people who would like to stay with you, depending on your location and depending on your customer base. Check your visibility. Make sure that you're still visible. Make sure that you take care of what the customers needs and listen to your customers. So it's really important. I think, yeah, I saw that quote that not the cheapest offer actually will win. but the safest offer will count for the customer, because they will make sure that they have a really good experience when they're staying with you. And this is also something in terms of when you communicate with your guests, either before they stay, during their stay, and at least when they left. This level of communication will be a lot of different, because people are a lot more into sharing their experience when they really come back to your hotel. So it's important to talk to your customers and get in touch, like using a CRM, or really be in touch with them in person, like you do, Nadja or Maxime, and talk to your customers and listen to their needs. And prepare your offer in-house. I just got a note this morning that even all those OTAs and Google and all the profiles are now setting up a dedicated profile section on what are your hygiene topics are, on what are you doing to make sure that your customer is safe. So you have to make sure that this has to be communicated to your customers the right way, that the customer will be sure that he's safe when he stays at your hotel.
And you can start already with your website or with, targeted marketing campaigns and whatnot to make sure that point comes across. Definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to take Helen first, or do you want to take the second question? Iris, up to you.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So Helen, I think you can jump in as well on the stuff that can be done on the website to sell better.
Absolutely, yeah. I can.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I can actually just agree on what has been said so far. So, Maxime, what you were saying about the price dumping, I absolutely agree. That is not the most efficient way to move forward. I also agree that you have to think as a hotelier as what makes your hotel unique. What does the location say? What kind of possibilities do you have at the moment? What kind of traffic can you even pick up? And then with our software specifically, we also really segment that kind of traffic. So detecting where the traffic is coming from to create certain domestic campaigns, to create international campaigns, to look at the personas and at the interests of the users, and to target those in real time. But also, of course, to take advantage of your subscriber base and to keep them engaged and to make them aware of when you are reopening, but also the possibilities you're providing as a hotelier. So I think there are many, many ways of doing it. I think it just really means to think outside of the box and to find different ways of engaging with your subscriber base, with your real-time visitors. And actually, I think most importantly is to really to exchange that experience and that knowledge with your partners, with other hoteliers, and to use these kind of settings to give each other ideas. I think this is a very, very powerful platform.
Agree.
Pick up the second question, Iris.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Not wanted to take over your job.
No, but it's like this multitasking between. Go ahead.
Yeah, writing messages and all that. So from Dennis, hi guys, this is Dennis. Quick question for Nadja and fellow hoteliers, but I think for the partners as well, this could be interesting. In terms of communication, are you getting messages or feedback from guests that they are looking forward to staying with you again, first of all? And if so, which are the main communication channels and how are you responding? Are you giving away discounts for booking their stay? No, hopefully not. Nadja. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, it's always the same. Actually, the second part was hard for me to understand. So the question is where we communicate?
So the first one was, are you getting messages and feedback that they are looking forward? And then if so, which are the main communication channels and how are you responding? Are you giving away discounts for the booking?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we are actually talking with our customers a lot. We never stopped to do so. And we are using most of all our CRM systems. So newsletter first of all, and then it is a lot about social media. So we do have a very strong Facebook community. We do have Instagram, but we receive a lot of direct emails as well. And with our Hotel Half in Hamburg, which is a bit, our customer group is a bit older, we even received a few letters. So we are definitely responding to all of them. It doesn't matter if it's a comment to a post we did on Instagram, or if it's a letter, if it's a message to our newsletter, we respond to all of them. And what I feel is very, what gives me hope is that everybody is telling us, oh, we can't wait for you to open again. We are so sad that we can't do it right now. And then they're telling us, okay, why they wanted to come to us, because it's a birthday, or they're missing Hamburg, or they're missing a hotel in their room. And it's a very personal contact, to be honest. So we do have a strong community, and that's what we want to, that's what I think we can use in terms, I mean, it's our customers, but what is our strength when we can open again, so we can message them directly, please, we are open again, now you can come, you couldn't before, but now you can. And I think it won't be a big problem for us.
And if you have those details and you can personalize, wow, every hotelier would lick all fingers.
I know. I just love our customers. Yeah.
Excellent.
For all the hoteliers listening in, I think you can all book 10 minutes with Nadja. And then go ahead. There's one question from Sahil. Oh, who wanted to say something?
Yeah, can I just add something? One important point, if you communicate with your customers that you are reopening and things like that, do not forget, you have to reopen your availabilities. You have to put in your price strategy. And not only for this year, but also for next year. Because basically here in France, we gave some gift vouchers to some customer in order not to refund and things like that. But if the gift voucher is available over 1 year or 18 months or whatsoever, you need to have availability, because some of these customers want to actually process to the booking and basically finalize it. So basically you need to reopen and rethink also your distribution and all this thing, and review your pricing, things about the event also that will happen next year and all this part, and start also this pricing process. Maybe it's earlier depending on the hotel, how you handle it, how your strategy is, but now you need to think about it, because you may, I hope so, have a rush of reservation maybe for next year.
Many people are thinking the vaccine will be there until then and are planning ahead now. Absolutely. Very good point.
And we're discussing about air travel not being totally a thing up until autumn, December. We have no real date, but basically maybe next year you will have some international traveler and they may plan it right now. But if you're not open, well, we need also, to focus on the present situation, but also on the future and not forget about it.
Absolutely. Frank, you wanted to add? You mute. You mute, Frank. Oh.
Just to add something to what Maxime said, because that's exactly correct what you're saying. And I think, and coming back to what I mentioned before, if you start marketing and communication, then try to focus on your loyal guests. Try to focus on, let's say, big spender guests, which you know from their past stays, and try to fill the capacities which are restricted in the coming months, and maybe also in the beginning of next year. Try to fill them first with the high value guests, instead of, again, making mass marketing and getting also people in who are willing to pay only a discounted rate and things like that. And I think this will increase your ADR and everything much more than doing mass marketing for the market.
Great.
One very last thing that I just forgot.
I understand you now, Daniel. Go for it, Max.
But it's very important, because basically on the event and all that is happening, do not forget your RFP season is starting for all your corporate rates and things like that. It's easier to forget about it because we have so much on our hands. But basically you are now starting to plan everything for next year. And basically if you forget it, if you miss maybe some deadlines, then you are also impacting next year potentially. And even though we're still waiting about instruction from GBTA, from the major TMC, maybe it will be pushed back. We never know. You still have to prepare it and to at least have it on top of your mind somewhere that it's coming.
And I'm sure, Maxime, and I'm sure in 2 weeks' time we have another Corona talks about like how to push direct sales in these times. So I'm sure a lot of what you just said is like very valuable to be picked up then again, as well as some of the others. I think we're coming to the end here. Apart from Daniel, if you have any other question to mention.
There's one more from Sahil Sharma. I would also like to know how you think government intervention will help in this situation. I think that's very split because it's very different from country to country. So I guess that's pretty hard to reply to that in a holistic way, which is one of my words, which I like to use. I think you have a final question to the panelists, right? If not,
I will in a minute, but will you put up poll number 2 maybe in the meantime? And we'll do like a final round in a minute, like as it seems has become a tradition. But first of all, I'd like to thank all of you. Like I think the discussion today will have helped a lot of hoteliers and vendors in the industry, because as you said, it is difficult to come by concrete information. So tips and tricks from other people in this industry are definitely very, very welcome. So from that aspect, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure having you today. Also, for everyone out there, I want to say like the recording of today's session will be out in the next days, and next week same time, same day. So on the 14th, we will have another Corona talk, virus versus hotel, and it will be about redefining the services of the hotel. So please join us again for that. The poll is back. Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Let's do this again. Make it shorter, one. Make it longer, one. Yeah.
All right, great.
More or less the same feedback we got in the last weeks, and that's why we are continuing, obviously. And your final question, Iris?
Fantastic. Yeah, so I learned that it's become sort of a tradition to have as a final question. So when I looked at the other recordings, to end with one positive sentence from each. So we'll do the round, and each of you just one positive sentence to finish off. Neha, can I start with you? You're on my top left corner.
Sure. I think I'll use a hashtag again, OneTribe. We will go through it together, and I think we all learned a lot and still learning a lot from the situation.
Great. Nadja, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I want to use a sentence which I normally hate, but I think it's really important in terms of Corona. So in English, it would translated be everything will be good in the end. If not, it's not the end.
Yeah. Oh, Alex, how about you?
Sorry, I had to unmute. My last quote, we share your ideas because we can do this together.
We definitely can. Maxime, your positive sentence.
Yeah, well, from what we see from China, yes, the situation is not the best for sure, but basically everything is getting better and better, and well, we'll go through, we'll push through, and basically, even if it's just a setback, it's a setback. That's it.
Great. Helen, up next.
Yeah. As I've been seeing already some positive trends, I would say small successes are big successes in this time. So just help each other, reach out to people to find new ideas, and yeah, support each other.
Great. Frank, you are not mute, you can talk.
No, I would say, yeah, with all the technology, with all the experience, and in addition, all the shared ideas that we have, yeah, we will make it.
Great. Yeah, I'll stick with what Neha and Helen have said. Like we'll get through this together. We'll if we stick together, we'll make it through. Daniel, final positive sentence from you to finish this off.
I'm an entrepreneur as well, right? So I run a team and I have people working with me, which is one of the greatest things you can have. But from an entrepreneur's perspective, I can share these are really challenging times, and one day is positive, the next one is negative, whatever. But this week there have been so many positive messages with hotels opening up in Switzerland, now here in our area, in Nordrhein-Westfalen by end of the month. So new things coming up, new corporations, new stuff where we're working together with people that we didn't think of before. So there is positive things. Stick together, exchange ideas, help each other, because I think that's the core thing we need to do. Don't think about only yourselves, but think about your environment. And there's so many great people out there, and so much talent out there that we need to keep in our industry. So let's work on this together so we can come back as fast as possible and be successful all together, because always all these great people will be working in retail and we will miss them forever, you know. So let's be quick and fast. All right, thanks so much.
Great, thank you all. Thank you again for your time and for sharing your experiences and your thoughts. And thank you out there for watching, and tune in next week.
And thank you to Iris for hosting this webinar. Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
If anyone wants to come join us, being hosted next week's, reach out to Lisa and myself. Give Lisa a break so she can relax a little bit, because she's working her ass off for HIC to work on new concepts and stuff. So thank you, Iris. It was excellent. It was great. Much better than I ever have done it. And thank you to the lovely panelists for your time and being with us. And I see all the positive feedback in the chat as well. Let's keep it up and see you all next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.